Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. We'll go ahead and get started right away. I'm going to let Thiago and Eduardo get started. We will have a second session after about 30 minutes. If you have questions for either Thiago or Eduardo, please type them in the chat, and we should take a few minutes at the end of their session to answer them before we move on to Saba's presentation. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is Thiago Ancelmo. I am the clarinetist of Kemi Ensemble, New Music Chamber Group. I'm also adjunct instructor of clarinet at University of Wisconsin Platteville, and I'm super happy to bring Brazilian composer Eduardo Frigatti, and we are gonna talk about his music for clarinet, focusing specific probably in Iguaçu and moods, depending how time goes. I also want to thank all the organizers of the festival, Dr. Gardner, Jessica for helping us. I'm really excited for this. At the end of the presentation, I prepare like a small PDF page just with some resource where you can find music for clarinet, specific more like for solo clarinet by Latin American composers, and I will share that later with you. So let me introduce Eduardo Frigatti. Hi, Eduardo. Feel free to talk a little bit about you, your background, like where you are now, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much, Thiago, for the opportunity to talk to invitation. No? And I must say that I'm very happy to be here talking this event. Thank all of you to be here with us, and Jessica for the helping. So my name is Eduardo Frigatti. I'm a composer. I'm from Brazil, but nowadays I'm living in Poland. I'm in Poland because I came here to study with an important Polish composer, Krzysztof Penderecki. I study composition with him. I received a special prize and I received a scholarship from Brazilian Mozarteum. And I had this opportunity to study with him. And after I finished my studies with him, I come back to Brazil, did my doctoral, and come back to Poland, where I'm now teaching at the University Marii Skłodowskiej-Curie in Lublin. And I keep composing, of course.
Where are you from, Eduardo? From in Brazil? Where did you study? Where did you start like composing in Brazil?
I compose since I was a kid. So I started studying music with my mom. My mom was a pianist. And I came from a very small city in the Paraná state. Okay. So it's close to Paraguay, close to Argentina, and in the north of Paraná. And Paraná state, it's in the south of Brazil. Brazil as US, it's very big. So, but the US is like this, Brazil is like this. Yeah. Nice. And I'm come from the south of the country. I study in Curitiba, that is the capital of Paraná, music therapy, and this will be important for these pieces of clarinet. I'll explain why later. And I study also music. I did the master in composition. I did in Curitiba also too, and I did my doctoral in São Paulo, in University of São Paulo, USP.
Okay. Who was your professor there? That's so because maybe people may know some names there.
Yes. My first teacher of composition was a clarinetist, Maurício Dottori. Okay. He was a clarinetist, and I think this is why I keep composing a lot for this instrument, even though I'm not a clarinetist. I studied first piano, and I also studied guitar, and I keep playing as a guitarist. So I studied with Professor Dottori, Professor Rodrigo Lima in São Paulo, and Professor Silvio Ferraz also in São Paulo. And my last teacher of composition was Krzysztof Penderecki.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's funny because I think the first time I heard your piece, Iguaçu, which we are going to talk about, was in the Brazilian National Conference of Clarinetists. I think that was 2017 or 2018, 2017. And I was very impressed. It was really great piece of music, like very challenging in a way, but very idiomatic as well. It felt like listening, and then when I got the music, I was like, yeah, it's really well written. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how was the process of writing for clarinet? Like, did you collaborate with some clarinetists, or where the idea came from, where the idea of the title, right? Because, I mean, let's you talk about the piece. Can you tell me a little bit like how that start, like how Iguaçu start?
Actually, I would like to show Iguaçu. I did a festival in 2016 with festival of music, and we had there a course of composition with Professor Flo Menezes, that's a famous professor, and Harry Crow, also an important composer from Brazil. And I composed a piece, and my piece was premiered there. I won a prize from the festival and was selected, and it was performed. It was a piece called Estilhaço. It's a miniature for violin, clarinet, cello, and piano. The clarinetist, Jairo Wilkins, it was a colleague and friend, and now it's a friend, and he likes a lot the fragment of the clarinet. And he say, look, this fragment is very good. Could you do a solo piece for me? Because I'm recording a CD, and I think it would be amazing to have this one piece of yours with some idea similar to this one in the CD. He was talking about the middle of the piece. I will tell you about this later. And then I say, okay, I can do. But he said, look, but we have less than 1 month, more or less 1 month. Can you do? Really? I say, whoa, okay, let's do it. No, it's a short time. Oh, sorry. It's the happiness of the moment. Then he said 1 month. Then okay, I start to do the piece. This was in March, no, more or less. We have this the event was in the end of the January, but he talked with me later. And in March, so I had 1 month more or less, and to do this piece. Then I come with this idea to do about this Iguaçu, that is an important river in Paraná that separates Paraná from another state in the south of Paraná that's called Santa Catarina. And in the end of Iguaçu, maybe you could show some images for us, Thiago, if you could help with this. There is a very famous natural accident, I don't know how to say this, that there's a very big waterfalls, and I recommend for you to go there. It's called Cataratas do Iguaçu. It's really amazing. I went there 3 times. I love that place. And it's not so close, but it's a bit far, not far away from the region that I was born. So it's a place that I like. I have some friends there. And then I come with this idea to do this piece about a river. I did another piece about rivers already. And so this was a commission of Jairo, and he recorded in his CD the piece. He recorded in a CD of Clarinete Solo Brasileiro. So if you want to know also, you have Thiago prepared this paper with some pieces about the clarinet in Brazil, but you can also check this CD of Gyro. That is really amazing CD. And during the process of composition, I have the collaboration of some clarinetists. Gyro, of course, helped me a lot. And I was doing a course, I was starting my doctoral, and I have a help of Bruno Girardi, that is a clarinetist from Brazil. I think now he's in Germany, and he was doing his graduation there. He helped me to do the piece also, and his teacher that helped me with another piece for clarinet, that is Luiz Afonso Montanha, famous also Brazilian clarinetist. You should check his works. And so I have this, I did this partnership with these three clarinetists.
Can you tell us about like the structure of the piece? What is important there? Because you use also extend techniques, right? How that reflects in the piece, or how was the process of writing that? Did you collaborate with the performers, or you research by yourself the extend techniques in the piece?
Yeah, it's a mix of I talk with them, no, of course, the possibilities of the instrument, but I check some things that I'd like to do, and I discuss with them how it's difficult to do, if it was how much was complicated to do in that place, because something that is always my first teacher of composition used to mention, that sometimes one thing itself is not difficult, but combined with three things that one to another is difficult, became a bit complicated passage, you know. So sometimes I was discussing this kind of problems with the clarinetist, how to create some kind of not so complicated moments, even though the piece became quite advanced level. No, it's not easy piece. But if it's not because the collaboration with them, it'll be impossible. So it became a good piece with a high level, but it's very good and it's possible to play. One thing that was always complicated to write for clarinet is this multiphonics, no? And there are some different solutions to that. I indicated some of them, but I leave the possibility for the musician find similar ones. You know, if they don't find, they couldn't do the ones that I write. And these ones that I write, the first idea I check in some books of standard techniques, but some multiphonics are not working. They didn't work how I planned. So Jairo give me some ideas how to do, and we change a bit. So and this last score is already with this change that Jairo suggests.
Awesome. So in the future, if someone decide to play your piece, and we are gonna listen a little bit of it, and the multiphonics are not quite working, like the ones you wrote, they have freedom to find multiphonics that can match your idea, so we can adapt
Yes,
multiphonics.
no
Cool.
problem.
Oh,
Because
nice.
it's like this. There are some composers that even leave a bit open. No, I didn't do this in this piece because there are some moments that one partial start the multiphonic. So
Okay.
you can even change a bit the multiphonic, but you need to find that partial. This is why I keep a bit I wrote the multiphonics, but if it's not exactly that one, you couldn't do that one, you can do another that is similar, and it's okay, no problem.
So on that, as a performer, and you're a composer, like how rigorous you you are about like following what's in the part, like with the tempo, with rhythm. How you see that as a composer? Do you want the performers to be kind of strict with what is written in the page, or you give them a little bit freedom about like tempo, how you adjust that? Can you tell us a little bit about you as a composer, what do you want from the performer, like when the performer has your music in front of them?
I used to play also, no? So I know that sometimes you have some. I keep playing as a guitarist, and I know that my hand as a guitarist has some facility and some difficulty. So I think flexibility is good, and is where the co-creation of the performer exists. So I'm not so rigorous. Of course, doesn't mean that it's the person it's not an open score piece, because there are also no, but this specific one no. But I expect that the performer collaborates somehow when he's playing, and he put his ideas, and I'm a bit flexible with this. With time, I'm more and more cleaning my scores and letting less information, minimal information for the performer, has more space to work. A good performer will know what to do.
Okay, awesome. Eduardo, should we listen a little bit of the piece? Do you want to play a little bit of it?
Could be. I'm.
Is there any place you'd like to start? Do you want me to share that?
Yes, I'd like to start with the beginning. If you could share that.
Sure.
And what is this? The beginning, it's showing the four materials that they'll be using the whole piece. Because the idea of this piece, it's how to make work with some, we say in Portuguese, a kind of fake polyphony. Not because you have just one instrument that is monophonic. It's not a harmonic instrument. And how you can create some illusion of polyphony. And one way to do this is work with very different range moments. And another way is change the timbre of the instrument. And the standard techniques helps to change the timbre of the instrument. So if you see in the beginning, I have four, I call it complex sounds, and these complex sounds are developing separated, and after they start to integrate it slowly. This is basically the way that the music is constructed. So if you could listen the beginning until 1 minute.
Perfect, I will do that.
It's okay. So if you see, you have the multiphonic is one material that will be worked separately. There's this long note in the beginning, it's one material. This you have another gesture that is that I copy from Penderecki piece for clarinet, that is this tremolo, that will be another material. and these glissandos are another material, and they will be developing a bit separated during the piece, and in one moment, slowly they start to be integrated and became just one idea. For instance, in the final gesture of the central part, what I call it the B section, this everything is it's a bit disintegrated and became just one stream, let's say. And could you hear this fragment? It's in the 6 minutos e 15 segundos.
Okay.
It's okay. It's just this. Then he come back, as you see. So you have a kind of B section that is developing, and these things start to be together, and a section that come back showing that material again. You know, like the beginning. That this part that you just listened was the end of the piece, and this idea very full of notes and take from the high note to very low note is the picture of the waterfall that was mentioned, like the sound picture.
Awesome. So that's interesting to listen to, because before you were saying like you give some freedom for the performer to create the performance of it, right? The interpretation of it. But it seems you are very how to say, form is an important aspect in your music. Is that correct? So if I'm gonna perform your music, I should be aware of that, of the form, how the music is structured. Is that a correct thing to say, to ask? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Penderecki used to say that the form it's very important. It's one of the most important things of the piece, no? And Dottori also. Because, and I agree with them, because where you catch the attention of the listener is how you build in the music. So it's very important for me. It's something that I really think a lot.
Nice.
In this piece specifically, one thing that is difficult and it's important to keep alert is that because I work with these materials and sometimes there are some flashbacks of these materials, is difficult to make this as a unique flow, and this is very important on this piece to building this form, as I mentioned before, well, in a unique flow.
Okay.
With these very different materials.
Good. Nice. Is there any other thing in the piece you'd like to share, or for us to listen to it, or you want to talk it?
One thing that I work and could be interesting to show it some ideas of we call it the window form, window figure, that if you could put in 3 minutos e 42, that between when these materials start to be more together, as I told you, I start to bring a bit of future in this material. I start to import, when do you see agitado in the score? This agitado, it's some fragment that will come yet. That is the fragment that represents this place where the waterfalls happen. So if you observe the materials that I mentioned in the beginning, they are more connected already. And then I start to import some material from the future, that what will be in the future of the piece. Could you play this fragment? Is 20 seconds. Okay, thank you. This agitado, you happens in different moments in the piece. Now, there's another examples that will happen this until in the moment that he really starts this B part that is in the this agitado part that is in the 5 minutos e 35. Could you just put just to show very 10 seconds?
5 minutos, you said?
E 35. It's okay. So, and in this fragment, it's that one they start to be in parts until the moment that he became the main thing in the piece, and that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a great piece. It's a difficult one, but it's really good one. If where people can find about you, and if someone here wanna buy the music or get the music, where we can find the
You can text me. That will be great. I will be always happy to receive message from you.
okay.
My Facebook, Instagram, and it's @Eduardo Frigatti composer, and
Eduardo,
or by my mail.
awesome. Can you write your mail in the chat then?
Sure.
Awesome. Perfect. I'm gonna share with everybody just like a really short thing about uh, Latin American music for clarinet, and because I think this sometimes is very difficult to find information, or we think it's very difficult to find information about Latin American composers, but actually there is a lot out there, and I want to share with you all like really small portion of that and some resource that actually can can find music for clarinet solo and clarinet in general. I'm gonna later I'm gonna share this as well with everybody in the chat. But this is a couple of places if you're interested in music by Latin American composers. You can find more information about composers, about music, where to find them, where to buy them. Right now, there's this really great initiative happening in Latin America, organized by people from Clary, Peru, and other members of the community, called Catálogo Latino-Americano de Música para Clarinete, Luis Ross. And in this website, you can find a lot of information about music from Latin American composers. Here in the US, there's the Cayambes Music Press, and their exclusive printing and music by Latin American composers. So you can check some names there, like and there's a lot of stuff for clarinet, for all the levels as well. Going to Brazil, Música Brasilis is a great website where you can download music from popular music of concert. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff. So I will leave this in the chat and maybe share with Jessica later. But you can find more information about music in South America. Okay, thanks so much for being all here. And if you have any questions, you can send an email to me. Something is super easy to find me online. So, and I will leave my mail here. Thank you, Eduardo.
Thank you
Thank you
very
both
much.
so much.